Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
So this week was the Annecy Animation Festival in France, and we got a whole bunch of announcements about the future of Disney television animation, including renewals for both KIF and Big City Greens. We also got first looks at shows like Stugo, which I think is supposed to be coming out later this year, and The Doomies, which is giving Gravity Falls vibes and looks awesome. There was a big party for Disney TVA's 40th anniversary, with banners highlighting Mickey Mouse Clubhouse 2.0, Phineas and Ferb, KIF, the Big City Greens movie, Zombies the Reanimated Series, and The Proud Family Louder and Prouder. And I couldn't help but notice that Primos is conspicuously absent here. Obviously, they had to retool it after the less than stellar feedback its title sequence received a year ago, but it was supposedly all set to debut this month alongside Big City Greens Spacecation, but now it's been delayed yet again. The heck is going on with Primos? Anyways, Meredith Roberts said, "Things have come a long way since the adventures of the Gummy Bears, but with new content from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Prep and Landing, Phineas and Ferb, The Proud Family, and more, it's an exciting time to be a Disney TVA fan." And I'm definitely interested to see the slate of upcoming projects, but I've got to admit, it's hard for me to not feel just a little bitter about all of this given the way Disney treated the Ghost and Molly McGee. Especially with the utter lack of respect they displayed towards the end of the show's run, doubling up Jinx vs. the Human World and the end, and then not really treating the series finale like an event. I know, I shouldn't be complaining because, hey, at least we got an actual finale unlike Hailey's on it. But as someone who loves Disney, it's so painfully obvious that they had no idea what they had with this show. Especially when you look at the kind of stuff they had planned for season 3. Put a pin in that. So, what went wrong? Well, seeing how well my video talking about Hailey's on it did, I figured it would make sense to go back and give Molly McGee the same treatment. We know that season 1's premiere got off to a great start, only for the second and third drops to not perform as well on Disney+. And by the time season 1 was finished airing, it had been decided that the show wasn't getting a third season. I honestly don't think there's that much they could have done differently with that, since this was mainly just the result of the goalpost shifting to streaming and a lack of marketing. Because even though the show needed to be successful on streaming, Disney Plus never saw it as their show and never bothered to market it to Disney Plus viewers. It was just extremely unfair. This, by the way, is exactly what I'm talking about when I say, don't look at Disney like they're just one massive company where there's clear communication between different branches. That does not happen. Moving on, what are some story elements that could have been changed to entice more viewers? Well, the show's original pitch bible indicated that the Chens would show up in the middle of season 1. This didn't happen, of course, and I'm glad they didn't go down that route. But I think that mentioning the potential threat of ghost hunters once or twice would have been a good idea. But in addition to moving Like Father Like Libby to season 1, because I think that's when it actually takes place in the timeline anyways, I think teasing Scratch's past is something that should have happened in the very first episode, with A Soda to Remember happening sometime later in the second half of season 1. Obviously, fans are going to speculate about this regardless, but I think putting just a little more focus on that element earlier on would have helped pique the interest of people who like to theorize about stuff. Okay, so what about shipping? Well, I think one of the biggest reasons why Hailey's on it failed is that they had way too much of a focus on shipping, so I honestly wouldn't change much of anything. One thing that I think hurt the show leading up to the season 2 premiere was that leaks spoiled the Chens, including the fact that Ollie would end up being Molly's love interest. But leaks or not, there really should have been some Ghost Chaser Chen shorts leading up to the season 2 premiere in April of last year. Even just a short introducing each member of the family, it didn't have to be anything crazy. But if they had wanted to do more, there was no shortage of location options.
We went to Gettysburg to see the battlefield, Salem, the Alamo in San Antonio, this creepy lighthouse in Florida, the site of the Chicago fire, and a haunted mansion in New Orleans.
I'm good.
God, if this show had come out in the 2010s, the Chens would have had their own little blog you could go to online. Disney used to love doing things like that to serve as expansions of the world and its lore. Does Disney Channel even have a website anymore? No, it's just Disney Now. Great. And on that note, more shorts in general would have been great. We got a bunch of theme song takeovers and a few other chibi shorts, but Amphibia got a whole bunch of little in-universe vlogs, and stuff like that would have been a really natural expansion of the world here. Especially if you're trying to get the word out about the show to audiences who haven't seen it yet. Speaking of which, this is more of a general note, but if you're relying on your fans to spread the word about your shows, making it hard for them to share pictures or clips of the show only hurts you in the long run. You're worried about piracy, but they're gonna get the show no matter what. Let your fans share screenshots, dang it! And of course, perhaps the most important thing they could have done differently would be to actually do press stuff surrounding episodes like A Period Piece and 100% Molly McGee. But the way that they release things in batches on Disney Plus basically didn't allow them to do that. And it's so frustrating because there would have been a much bigger conversation surrounding episodes like that if you had given people the opportunity to let that happen. It's just so frustrating. I'm not exaggerating when I say that the Ghost and Molly McGee changed my life. It brought me and many others so much joy in a time when we needed it most, and it's such a shame that it was cut short. With a little more love and care, it could have been that huge hit Disney was looking for. It was such a special show, and I think the reaction to the shorts I posted about it is a pretty clear indication that there was a massive untapped audience for it. I have some ideas for what they could do if and when Disney did decide to bring it back in some capacity, but I'll save that for a future video. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe, and go tell a friend to watch the Ghost and Molly McGee.